Plus, Vladimir Klitschko and Tyson Fury have both weighed in ahead of tomorrow night's world heavyweight title fight. We're live to Germany for all the pre-fight build-up.
Very good evening from Dusseldorf. I've invited one or two select friends here for a little pre-fight party. I thought I'd bring together some of the big names from boxing, some of the leading journalists, some of the leading figures in the sport itself. We've got a few canapes which are just starting to arrive. Thank you very much, sir. We've got a few drinks and we've got a lot of boxing chat as well. So join us live here on Sky Sports News very, very soon for the pre-fight party.
Tyson Fury has weighed in a pound heavier than Vladimir Klitschko ahead of their world heavyweight title fight tomorrow night, which you can see on Sky Sports box office. For more ahead of one of the most hotly anticipated fights in recent years, we can go live now to Fraser Dainton in Essen.
Oh, actually in Dusseldorf, just down the road. This is where the fight is going to take place tomorrow night, of course. So I'm throwing a little party, bringing together some of the glitterati, if you like, of the boxing world. And no more glittering than the three that I've got with me to start with. I think that's probably fair to say. By the way, spot the athletes here amongst these three. Paul and Carl are on the soft drinks. Glenn has got 2 glasses of wine on his own. We've stitched you up like a kipper there, Glenn, haven't we? Paul, I'll start with you. The weigh-in's been complete, the pair of them, just a pound difference between the two. But take us through what happens now when you're a fighter, you've weighed in, you're getting yourself ready for the fight tomorrow night. What goes through your mind? What kind of things do you do?
I think for the heavyweights it's different. They don't have to go and really refuel as much as the average fighter who had to make weight does. But I think it's just when you have to make weight, it's the first hurdle done and the next is the fight. But tonight I think the heavyweights will just be sitting there, probably relaxing. One of them may have to actually go and do a little shakeout or a workout. You just never know with heavyweights, but I bet you they'll both be excited, both be nervous, and both be anticipating what's going to come tomorrow, what their opponent's going to do tomorrow, because that's the first thing in your mind. I wonder how he's going to come out. I wonder if he's going to attack. I wonder if he's going to back off and everything else. So,
yeah. Carl, what was it like for you when you made the weight and you were getting ready for the fight the next day?
You know what, it's mixed emotions for me. I'm excited because the fight's going to happen, but I'm also nervous and apprehensive, so sort of a mixed bag of emotions. I don't like to be around too many people, especially family and really close friends. Probably my close friends more than my family or loved ones. I don't like to be around them because it brings out the emotion. You start going a bit soft. You want to be thinking hard and thinking about the fight. So I just go and get something to eat, refuel, because we have to make weight, as heavyweights don't. And then I just want to get in my room and relax, watch a film, switch off and concentrate about the fight, and that's about it, really.
And then you had to deal with me coming round to your house the next morning and giving you a knock-up to get on an interview. Glenn, as far as the fighters themselves here are concerned now, obviously Vladimir Klitschko's done this so many times before, but this is all new stuff for Tyson Fury, isn't it?
It is very new. It's something, especially at this type of level. You know, it's a big jump for Tyson, and he's away from home. It'll be dawning on him now the big job that he's got at hand, and you know the nerves will be starting to creep in a little bit because Vladimir has done it so many times before, and he's done it successfully so many times. So he'll be thinking about that. You know, nerves will start to have an effect.
What do you think he will be feeling at the moment? Because obviously tomorrow he's got to step out in front of 50,000+ people. As you say, Vladimir has done it so many times, but it is that likely to be the making or the breaking of Tyson Fury tomorrow night?
Do you know, I'm talking about nerves. It's Tyson Fury. I forgot, isn't it? You never know. He'll be having a party or something at the minute, won't he? He's, you know, he's different to most fighters that you ever come across. You know, he's a real character. I think, you know, he'll be enjoying himself. He's got his family, he's got his friends, he's got all the people around him, which give him comfort, which he likes. You know, he likes to be in that sort of environment. So I think he'll be happy. And remember, he's going for it's his first shot at the heavyweight championship of the world. It's a dream come true. I remember when I got my world title shot. I mean, I was just, you know, nervous, but I just wanted it so much. I just could not wait. And I think he'll be like that.
11 years, Carl, since Vladimir Klitschko last lost a fight, which is an incredible record, really, isn't it? But there are still some people out there that think he's maybe a little bit boring, maybe a little bit robotic. But if he's successful, you can't knock him for that, can you?
No, not at all. It's his defensive style that gives him a little bit of criticism from what you've just said there. Me, myself, I'm a fan. He does the job. He does it right. In the last 10 years, he's unbeaten. He's fought some great fighters. I mean, we saw what he did to David Haye. He just nullified him. And David Haye was wiping everybody out. I know he's not a natural. I mean, David Haye's a fantastic cruiserweight. And at heavyweight, he wasn't quite big enough. But anybody he's been in front of late, he's just totally whitewashed him and made easy work of it, as Klitschko. So we talked about nerves earlier. I think Tyson Fury now, this evening, realises he's in a fight, and he's put himself in a position now as well where he's told everyone he's going to win, and he's going to make an old man of Klitschko. He's going to do the business, and 1,000%, I think his words, he's going to win, and he's going to potentially knock him out. So it's going to dawn on him now, and he's put himself under unnecessary pressure, in my opinion. But that might make him perform better. That might bring the best out of him. We don't know until we see it tomorrow, and that's what's so exciting and wonderful about sport of boxing.
Paul, do you think maybe Vladimir Klitschko is underrated, perhaps underappreciated?
He may be underappreciated, but not by us boxers, I don't think. I think we know how good he is and how hard it is to win a world title, never mind keep one and defend one and stay at the top. Maybe regain it, which he has done, but to stay at the top for so long, this is his 27th world title fight, and it's not just one title he's had them all, and that's testament to him as an athlete, how he's kept himself in the shape he's in. Look at him today on the scales, he looked in frighteningly good shape again, and he looks like he's 10 years younger than what he actually is, but I don't think he's underappreciated by us, and I don't think he's underestimated Tyson Fury. There was an interview today with Vali as well, his brother, and the first thing he said, Fury, good fighter, this, that, but they'll know what they're in with. But it's all on Fury, I believe. I believe it's all on whether Tyson Fury is going to be overawed by the occasion, whether it's going to get to him, or whether it's going to make him, and it's going to make him fight the best fight of his life.
So what does he have to do? What is it that Tyson Fury has to find the key to in this fight in order to try and get himself a win?
Personally, I think he has to take away Klitschko's jab. I think that's his best asset, his best weapon. I think when McCrory Sanders beat him, the Klitschko jab was non-existent, and that goes to show it can be done. But he's a different fighter than back then. But I think he's going to come out and try and take centre of the ring and try and take it to him. But I also think Klitschko's going to try and do that as well. So I think it's got the makings of being a great fight for however long it lasts.
Carl, same question to you. What does Tyson have to do? What did he have to try and find to make sure he gets the win?
I think what he'll do early on, I think he'll jab and move and try and feel his way in. He just doesn't want to be doing that for too long. I think as soon as he feels comfortable and confident enough, he needs to close that gap, close the distance, and try and put Vladimir on his back foot. So initially, straight away, round one, take the centre of the ring and think about not taking a step backwards. That way, he takes away the control from Klitschko. If he takes the centre of the ring and manoeuvres Klitschko around and gets him working them 39-year-old legs, straight away for me, I'll be comfortable that he's started well and he's in a good place, and then it's how it evolves from there.
Glenn, same to you. What do you think?
Yeah, I think he's got to take the play away from Klitschko straight away, because I got the feeling at the weigh-in that all the fun and games was over at the weigh-in, and it was you sort of had a real
they were very serious, weren't
they?
they?
But you had a real confident feel about Klitschko, and it was almost like, you've had your day, you've said what you've said, now it's my time. And I really got that feel that he was the boss today, that he was in the zone, because this is what he does best, and this is what he does so well. He's basically at home here in Germany. He's going to have great fan base in Germany, and I think he's very, very comfortable that he's done everything right. So Fury has to take that away from him. For me, he's got to start very, very quick. He's got to try and shock Klitschko as quick as he can with a good punch. He's got to let him know that he's here and he's serious. That's very important.
Great stuff, boys. Thanks very much indeed for joining me. That's the view of the boxers then. So the boys there, well, a lot of things to think about. So many different factors that are going on in this fight. Join me again very soon. We've heard from the boxers. We'll be hearing from the cream of the British press and find out what they think about the fight tomorrow night.
Thanks, Fraser. Let's head back to Germany now for more build-up ahead of tomorrow night's world heavyweight title fight between Vladimir Klitschko and Tyson Fury. Fraser Dainton is in Dusseldorf.
Yes, welcome back. The canapes are flowing. 1 or 2 glasses of wine have been had as well. We've heard from the boxers. Let's have a little word with some of the cream of the British press that have made their way out to watch the fight tomorrow night. Ron Lewis from The Times. We have, of course, got Jeff Powell from The Mail, and we've got Chris McKenna from The Star. Jeff, you've been doing this for a long, long time. You've probably got more experience at watching these sort of fights than most of us put together. When you consider the heavyweights that have been out there, where do you think Vladimir Klitschko is going to rank in the future?
Well, I'd like to say first that I don't like the knocking of Vladimir. I didn't like it of Vitaly. I mean, they are seriously fine heavyweight champions. When it comes to putting them into the pecking order of the all-time greats, they're probably outside the top 10 of all time, but they're not that far outside. And Vladimir's certainly not, after with his longevity as the champion. And there's nothing wrong with being a guy who reorganises his boxing, learns to protect his chin, stops getting knocked out, and reigns for more than a decade as the heavyweight champion. Second only to Joe Louis in the terms of the defences, and impressive, in how he's adjusted his game and his efficiency. And it's also admirable to be such a consummate professional as he is. Not everybody could last this distance and this age unless they were prepared to be as dedicated and make the sacrifices that he has. So he figures high in my ranking, but he's not sort of Muhammad Ali, if you like. But he's an important fighter, and he will be remembered for his achievement and his longevity as champion.
Ron, would you agree with that?
Yeah, generally, I think Klitschko's been underrated. People, mark down this era because there aren't any big-name Americans, and the problem with doing that is you've got to remember that previously there were no big-name Eastern Europeans before essentially the turn of the century, and the market's changed. All the best heavyweights now, or most of the best heavyweights, are from Europe or further east, and it's a different world. Klitschko is completely dominant in this era. You don't be a world champion for over 10 years. I mean, one notable thing about Klitschko also, I think this is his 13th unbeaten opponent he's facing. And you compare that to someone like Mayweather, and it compares incredibly well. He goes up against young guys, he's always taken on just about everybody there, everyone who's wanted to, and he's taken him on, and generally he's beaten them all.
Chris, as far as Tyson Fury is concerned, he's a real character. What do you think the sort of general sort of perception is of the British public to what sort of a character Tyson Fury is?
I think the last week people have really started to warm to him. There's been, in the past, some negativity. He says a lot of controversial stuff and people are a bit worried about him. But this week he's just been really relaxed, calm. At his media workout the other day, he was dancing around, singing a song, and people are actually going, oh, this guy is kind of nice. And I mean, there is obviously doubts about what some of the other stuff he says, but he's warmed everybody. Everybody seems to get on board with him now, and I think there will be a lot more people looking for him to win on Saturday than there would have been maybe 2, 3, 4 weeks ago.
The last few months have been hilarious at times. The Batman costume, head-butting a melon on YouTube, all that kind of stuff. Is he character? Is he bringing the fun back to the heavyweight division, do you think?
And I think it is character, and it is real. It's not put on. That is just how he is. He's always like that around his family and friends. He's always laughing and joking. If you sit around with him, we were there with him yesterday for quite a while at his hotel, and he was telling all his family stories stuff he gets up to, and some of it's hilarious. It's not for show. It's not only for when the cameras are on. He's always like that.
Jeff, just how big a shock do you think it would be if Tyson Fury were to pull this off tomorrow night?
Well, it's not as big a shock as Buster Douglas and Mike Tyson if you purely look at the betting. You're talking about a 40-to-1 shot. We're looking here at about 4 or 5-to-1 shot. So in those terms, not as dramatic. And I suppose in the public conscience, Tyson was a more fearsome animal than Klitschko is. He terrified people. He didn't just knock them out. He knocked them into from here to eternity. So that was the biggest heavyweight shock. But this is going to be a big one because people just don't think that Fury is good enough to beat him. And he's aware of that. He talks about everybody thinks I'm going to lose, and if I do, I'm going to look a fool, and so on. So he's aware of the stack of opinion against him, which I think is a great motivation for him. But the best thing about him is he's completely authentic. He's opinionated, he says what he thinks, he calls it as he sees it, and he's authentic. He's not playing the Batman stunt was for fun, but when he opens his mouth, he says what he truly believes.
Ron, just finally, briefly, how much does this division need this to be a good fight tomorrow night?
I think hopefully it will be. It's not often you see two really big guys in with each other, and Fury, whatever he does, gives Klitschko a different challenge. He's a guy he's essentially punching up to instead of someone he's just able to dominate and overpower. And that's what it gives it. And Fury, you would imagine he might try and trick his way through the early rounds, but you imagine at some point he's going to try and open up and going to try and take Klitschko out. And, the chances are, certainly as the odds are and as I see the fight going, that would open the door for Klitschko. But it might make a spectacular fight, and that's where Fury's chance lies as well. He's got to try and get Klitschko to take him out, and if he does, the openings may come for Fury.
We hope so. We hope it's going to be a great fight. Ron, Jeff, Chris, thanks very much indeed for joining me. Join me again soon. We'll be speaking more boxing chat here in Dusseldorf as we look forward to Vladimir Klitschko versus Tyson Fury for the heavyweight championship of the world.
Let's head back to Germany now for more build-up ahead of tomorrow night's world heavyweight title fight between Vladimir Klitschko and Tyson Fury. Live to Fraser Dainton, who's at the pre-fight party.
Yeah, it's been a great night here in Hamburg. Lots of great boxing chat, a few canapes, a few drinks. Everybody very, very excited about the heavyweight world title fight tomorrow night here in the city. Joined on the last table of the evening by Adam Smith from Sky Sports Boxing, Tom Loeffler from K2 Promotions, who of course look after Vladimir Klitschko, Asif Vali, who is of course Tyson Fury's advisor, and the one and only Johnny Nelson on the end there. But I'll start with you, Asif, because obviously all the British fans will want to know what sort of a mood is Tyson in tonight. Is he okay?
Yeah, he's in a brilliant mood. He's ready to go for tomorrow. So, you know, everything's going well for us. So let's roll on for tomorrow.
Obviously, it's been a big, big week for him. Probably something that he's not quite used to. How do you think he's handled it so far?
I think he's done tremendously well. He's sold the fight. Everybody knows that. He's been doing all the interviews that he's been asked to do. He's been talking to the media. So from our point of view, he's done everything that's been asked for, and he's been prepared for it as well.
You've obviously worked with him for quite a while now. You've seen how he's adapted to the spotlight. The media attention that he's been under has been huge, and he seems to have dealt with it pretty well.
Yeah, he loves it. He would have been here tonight if you'd invited him, I'm telling you. But obviously, no, he's absolutely loved it. He's relished and he's ready. I've never seen him as ready for this fight.
And fingers crossed, there's going to be a lot of support here for him tomorrow night as well.
Yeah, definitely. If you have a walk in town, in fact, he went across, had a walk in town. His biggest fan was there. He bumped into Lennox Lewis, so it was great. They had a meal together, and there's a lot of fans out there. So the city's absolutely buzzing and bouncing now.
Was Lennox able to give him any advice?
Yeah, he says just avoid them punches and make sure you win.
Let's have a word with Johnny, because I mean, you held the cruiserweight title for what was it, 7 years? I mean, how hard is it to maintain a title rather than actually win it in the first place?
I think what happens with a lot of fighters is from having a hunter's mentality, the hunted mentality. So you have a drive at first when you're chasing the title, like Tyson is doing now. His dream is to become a world champion. Once you get it, it's actually harder keeping it. And so what Vladimir has achieved is second to none, because he's reigned supreme for over 10 years, and it's very hard because you've still got to motivate yourself, you've still got to keep yourself in check, still be very professional like he is doing, and that's a responsibility Tyson's going to have to take on once he becomes champion, because usually what you see is a fighter wins a title and loses it after his first or second defence. If Tyson wants to cement himself in heavyweight history, he has to now think responsibly and think, right, this is a big mantle I've got on my shoulders. I'm king of the world as a heavyweight.
How do you think he'd handle that?
I think if you speak to him off camera, he's a very good boxing historian when he talks about the game. And I think he loves the game and he's passionate about the game. I don't think he'll make that mistake. And I think his antics that are unpredictable by the rest of us, this is controlled. He knows exactly what he's doing. I think he'll handle it well, but it's just in preparation he's going to understand. Once he becomes champion, if he becomes champion, it's a massive responsibility. And the goals change and the drive change, and that's why he's got to stay at the top of the tree.
You're diving into a pot or something there. That looks rather nice. What it is? Any ideas?
I don't know what it is.
Does it taste nice?
It tastes different.
Let's have a word with Tom. Tom, I'm guessing Johnny's talking about the possibility of Tyson Fury winning this title, but I'm guessing you're thinking very much along different lines.
Well, it's a great matchup. I mean, when you got two big heavyweights like Tyson and Vladimir getting in the ring, and then you have such a historic run that Vladimir's on right now. Just to correct Johnny, when he said second to none, he's actually second to Joe Louis, but that's the only one he's behind right now, the great Joe Louis, you know, and every time he gets in the ring, he makes history. And Tyson's undefeated. Tyson is not afraid. You saw he was very relaxed in all the media workouts and the events this week. He was singing at the media workout. So it's going to be a great matchup with a lot of fireworks.
You can see it. Tyson is obviously a great character, but Vladimir, to some extent, I think he's loving this, isn't he? Because Tyson is bringing something different, something new. He's a switch hitter. He's a tall guy. He's young. He's unbeaten. He's talented. He's something a little bit different for him.
It's not only do you have to be good in the ring, but you have to market yourself outside the ring, and that's what Tyson's great at that. And Vladimir, you know, is very intelligent, very likable. He's very serious, and so when Tyson takes on that lighthearted role, it makes for a good promotion.
Everybody will be looking at him at what is going to happen maybe after this fight. Obviously, Tyson, if he brings home the belts, there could be some fantastic domestic matchups. We are all, of course, looking at the possibility of Anthony Joshua coming through in this division. We need to have a good, big fight between these two because it can set up great fights in the future.
I think Vladimir Klitschko has made no secret of the fact that he really admires Anthony Joshua. So, you know, if he was to lose tomorrow, or when he's to lose, or when he steps away, I think he thinks that Joshua is the next big, you know, hope. But Joshua's got his own work cut out on December the 12th against Dylan White. Of course, Dylan is trained by Jonathan Banks. Jonathan trains Vladimir. So there's a lot of sort of infighting going on there. Who thinks who's going to win that one? But also we've got David Haye, you know, announcing his comeback this week. So heavyweights is where it's at. And if Tyson Fury can pull it off, there's some huge fights out there. But it's a tough ask, Fraser, because as Tom knows, you know, Vladimir is the ultra consummate professional, and he's looked as good as ever in the build up to this. So let's bring on tomorrow night. Let's see if Fury can pull it off. But Vladimir, I mean, he's so tough to beat.
Obviously, we know it's been a great week. There's been so much excitement. There have been so many little factors that have come in over the last few days. There's been the gloves row. There's been, you know, the press conference, the antics that he's gone, the singing, etc. So much interest, so much excitement surrounding this fight. Everybody seems to be really getting into it now.
Well, absolutely. You know, it was on and off at the beginning, wasn't it, with Vladimir's injury? You know, Tyson's been Batman. Tyson's entertained us. He's sung in the ring. You know, he's been very, very different, hasn't he? And Vladimir, you know, I'm a big fan of Vladimir Klitschko and his brother Vitaly. You know, I think they've been ultra sportsmen. They've been wonderful, intelligent, charming guys to work with in and out of the ring. And I think that it's just a great match, isn't it? A great collision of two very different characters from very different worlds. Tyson Fury, the unbeaten in 24, with all these knockouts, but has he fought anyone on Vladimir's level? No. Can he? This is the big opportunity. For Vladimir, can he keep sustaining the reign? Can he do what Johnny does and keep going and going? He's done it for so long. Can he do it for another? I think there's a 5-fight deal he started with RTL, so obviously he's got some big confidence, but he's 39 and time will catch up with him at some point, probably.
We shall have to see whether it is tomorrow night. Gentlemen, thank you very much indeed for joining me. All the talking pretty much over. We've had pulled cards, we've had wrong gloves, we've had Batman outfits. It's all been here as far as this fight is concerned. We are now down to the real business. Is Tyson Fury the real deal, or will Vladimir Klitschko's reign continue as heavyweight champion of the world?